And now Nigeria Agenda 2050 seeks to increase the country's per capita gross domestic product to 33,000 US dollars. The plan will succeed Vision 2020 after founding the National Development Plan. The Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed at the 28th Nigerian Economic Summit in the week in Abuja said Nigeria is currently in the second year of its National Development Plan, which replaced the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan of 2017 to 2020. She explained that federal government chose to prioritize roads, rail, agriculture, health, and education to strengthen the Nigerian economy post-COVID-19 pandemic. She added that resources were being mobilized with less emphasis on oil revenues. Ahmed also noted that financing of the NDP National Development Plan 21 to 25 will rely heavily on domestic resources and mobilization from non-oil revenue sources through the result of the Strategic Revenue Growth Initiative and Finance Act. We'll also take a look at President Buhari's Vision 2050 and the impact this will have and prospects ahead. It's Mr. Steve Okafor, MD CEO, Kofana Securities Investment. He joins us via the telephone now. Thank you for your time. Always a delight to have you on the program.
Yeah, Frank, it's nice having you once again.
Yes. Now, just before we get into the Vision 2050 document or conversation, let's get your assessment of the Economic Growth Recovery Plan of 2017 to 2020, which expired 2 years ago. How did that fare?
Frank, we have to understand that this policy is actually aimed towards increasing the standard of living of the citizenry. Okay. If you look at the plan, you look at their aims. For me, okay. Looking at structural economic transformation, improving efficiency in both public and private sector. Okay. We've not really seen much. But then, if I have to play the devil's advocate, government have to continue coming out with these policies and try as much as they can to see how they can improve the well-being of its citizens. You understand?
Okay.
So, by and large, I can't say that we have done so much, but then we just need to keep pushing.
Okay. And now, the Economic Recovery, Growth Recovery Plan of 2017, the National Development Plan of 2021 to 2025, and now Vision 2050. So, in your own opinion, what do you think is the need for Nigeria now?
What is the need? You see, now, let's look at the Vision 2050. If actually it is, if the government end up achieving that target, it is good. That will place us at a per capita GDP of over $33,000, which will be, our standard of living will even be more than that of Italy. Okay, that will place in a ranking of over 30 in the world. About 30 will be somewhere in that neighborhood. You understand? And it will be a good one for the citizens. But what we are looking at is what is the government putting in place to ensure that we achieve it? What are they sincere in all these things that they are planning? It's not just coming out with a policy and saying this is not what we want to be. Okay, what are they putting on the ground? What is available? What are they doing to make sure that these steps they are putting on the ground is achieved at any point in time? That's it, Frank.
Now, Vision 2050, of course, is just less than 30 years away from here, less than 27 years. So, and now, if you look at the growth trajectory of the Nigerian economy in the last 15, 20, or 3 decades compared to where we are going, so how optimistic are you? That's number one question. Then number 2 question is this, that the government is targeting about 33,000 US dollars per capita income by then. Do you think this is too ambitious for the government?
You see, Frank, the truth is there. Yeah, it is good to gain very high. It is good for the government to have a high to project. Have a very high plan for good projection for the economy. It's good, but if you look at where we are coming from, all the plans they've been putting on the ground, diversification of the economy, how far have we gone with that? Investment in critical, fiscal, financial areas and infrastructure, how far have we been? How far have we gone? Have we actually succeeded in all these areas? You understand? So, from time, we've been hearing of diversification of the economy, diversifying away from oil and gas. Have we actually succeeded in it? Even the agriculture that is supposed to be where we will have our core strength, have the government been able to do policy, the government have been able, one way or the other, to conquer that area. We have not been able to do that, Mark. You understand? So, putting this in place, the only reason why I don't want to criticize the government for having a high projection is that, yes, we are hoping that if we have the right leadership, Frank, Nigeria we are blessed with human capital. We can achieve that if we have the right leadership. That's the truth.
Now, of course, this is a laudable vision or project, and it's massive. It will cost a lot. And so let's look at some of the things we need to start looking at, to address or hit this target. The issue of infrastructure is there. When you talk about infrastructure, of course, you have to bring railroad into the picture as well. You have to bring power infrastructure and some other necessary infrastructure required for a working society or an economy. So where do you think we need to start from?
Frank, it is difficult to say this is because if, for example, you can't do without power. Frank, you can't actually do without good road infrastructure. You can't do without it. You understand? For me to say, probably we should concentrate on power first and then leave out the other ones, it doesn't make sense. Because these areas must be tackled simultaneously, Frank. If you have a good power, if you have increase the power generation for the economy, and you don't have good road network or rail networks to possibly distribute and traverse the length and breadth of the economy, it's still going to be something that will not go well and lead to a good development. So these areas must be tackled simultaneously, Frank.
And you think it should not be too much for the government to start, addressing them side by side. Okay, for instance, let's take agriculture, for instance. I know CBN has been leading intervention in that sector, for quite a while now. With the Anchor Borrowers program, you have other incentives for, peasant farmers as well. And so for agriculture, how much more do we need to diversify with regards to value chain?
Yeah, Frank, the challenge with agriculture is, the challenge with agriculture is the insecurity, the inability of farmers to access the farmland. Okay? That is the area, no matter the amount, no matter what the CBN, no matter the policy the CBN put in place in terms of giving out funds or aiding farmers, if these farmers are not able to access their farmland, they will still not be able to meet the target. The food production in the economy will still be very, very abysmal. You understand? So generally, agriculture is an area that the government needs to concentrate on. But the only way to achieve what we want in agriculture is to ensure that headsmen, farmers class is tackled head on, ensure that road networks are seriously provided, or so that farmers from the local, from the villages, from the rural areas, food produced, agricultural products can be transported from the rural areas to the cities where they are needed. You understand? There is no way we can talk of development in Nigeria without
so transportation, is key when you are talking about, agricultural value chain or boosting agricultural value chain. It's very, very key.
That is it, Frank. That is it, Frank. Transportation either by road network, railway, whichever way, that we must. There must be access between the villages, that is the rural areas and the urban areas. That is, there's nothing you can do about that. If we don't tackle that head on, for example, Frank, I live in Port Harcourt.
Okay.
I can't even go to Aba.
I know this intervention of the CBN talking about Anchor Buhari'S program and some loans to farmers have been targeted towards smaller farmers and maybe small commercial farmers as well. But is it time? But we have not really targeted at the institutional farmers, or let's say on a bigger scale yet. When do you think it is necessary for us to bring the conversation around encouraging or attracting investors on a big scale to come into agri sector?
Yeah, I think what CBN is looking at is that the institutional investors or big scale agricultural farmers have access to other areas of finance. Okay? Now, if you look at it, the Bank of Agriculture is there. Okay? Which, of course, those that have been able to prove, one way or the other that they know what they are doing in agriculture can actually approach the Bank of Agriculture and access loan. And don't forget, Frank, the Nigerian capital market is there as well for the likes of Okomu Oil and Presco that are more like recognized in that sector. So I think CBN is targeting the small time investors in the agriculture because they are the ones that may find it very difficult to approach financial institutions for funds towards improving their agricultural distance. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's talk about health and education. You also captured in the document and that how to address some of the issues put on the table in regards to, meeting up with the target concerning this Vision 2050. So health is part of it, education is part of it, but let's talk about health, healthcare system, as it were. Give us your take on how well you think the government is interested in the Nigeria healthcare system.
The Nigerian healthcare system is a pity that our leaders are not actually doing enough to improve the healthcare situation in Nigeria. Okay, and we know why. Most of them, when they have people ordinary headache, they buy their flight ticket and get out of the country. Okay, but we know that health, they say, is what? Is wealth. You can't actually create wealth without being healthy. Okay, considering the hospitals that are littered all over the country, Frank, if this government is sincere and they want to improve healthcare, all they just need to do is to do the right thing. Stop the brain drain our doctors that are traveling outside the country. Okay? Give them what you call good working conditions for them to remain here and then provide us with what we need.
I know there are quite, a lot of companies playing in that who are also listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. You have Fixing, you have quite a number of them there. You also have GSK, the GlaxoSmithKline also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who are there on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So how do you think we can bring them into the conversation in terms of partnership to add up, to boost the healthcare system in Nigeria? Because, of course, when you talk about business, private sectors should have, should be brought into the conversation more.
Yes. Play a major role, yes. Yeah, the thing is, there are incentives. You see, most of these taxes that the government levy on companies to generate income. If you want Glasgow, for example, to partner with the government in terms of possibly taking care of one area of, they might say, okay, let's look at providing drugs to a particular hospital, okay? Which, you see, there are incentives that the government can actually give, which, of course, Frank, I cannot specifically tell you now, but I know that if the government wants to have operation from companies like Glasgow, there are incentives they will give in terms of reduction in taxes that will enable Glasgow to possibly partner with the government.
Okay. As we try to wrap up now, of course, we understand that one of the major drawbacks in the Vision 2020 was that Nigeria failed to be among the top 20 economies in the world. So, and when you look at the current realities now, it looks like there might be a challenge on the way to addressing or to reaching the Vision 2050 goal. So, does Nigeria have what it takes to actualize this plan?
Frank, you look at, let's take power, for example. If we need to be among the top 20 economies in the world, are we generating enough power to take care of our production in Nigeria? I don't see it happening without the will and possibly changed in the way we are thinking right now.
Right.
Okay. The only good thing we are looking at is that Nigerians have learned their lessons. 2023, we believe, will be different. You understand? Once we have the right leadership, Frank, I bet you a lot of things will go right.
Okay. I think we need to leave it there. Thank you so much, Stephen Okafo. Is the MD CEO, Co-founder Securities and Investment. Thank you for coming on Business Breakfast.
Thank you, bro.
All right, still to come after this break, Brent crude futures dropped by 62 cents or 0.7% to $92.24 barrels in early trade. But that's our focus next after this break. Please stay with us.